Hello and welcome to another edition of English Trivia. Language is a communication tool. When do you think people actually start using it? Some people say that some of the oldest languages spoken today would be Tamil, Hebrew, some of the dialects in Chinese, Lithuanian, and Greek. So how old do you think English is?
How old? I have no idea.
I'm sure it's older than me, so I'm guessing somewhere around 7,322 years old.
It's maybe before time.
1,900
Very old. 应该有1,000。
300年。
300年。
1,000 years old.
多老？
对。
很老很老，跟中国的文字一样。
Those are good tries. Now let's see. The earliest time when English was spoken was in the 5th century, which was about 1,500 years ago. This makes English, in comparison to Chinese, a rather young language. Before this time, people who lived on the British Isles were mostly Celts, and they spoke the Celtic language. Even though there is very little trace of the Celtic language in modern English, certain words managed to endure into the modern day. Examples include lamb for lamb, goose for goose, and brie for bread. When Germanic tribes, such as Angles and Saxons, invaded and conquered the British Isles in the 5th century, they brought their language with them and influenced the native Celtic tongue, forming the basis of Old English. This is widely regarded as the beginning of the English language. You know, the "eng" in England and English are derived from angle, paying tribute to its Anglo roots. English was developed in roughly 3 stages, known as Old, Middle, and Modern English. The Old English period started in the 5th century and lasted for about 700 years. Most people would not recognize any writing in English today. However, certain words survived and are still used. Words such as he, of, for, and on remain exactly the same. The period of Middle English started in the 11th century and lasted for about 500 years. During that period, many French words entered the language. Examples of French can be found in words such as musique for music, belt for beauty, and contrée for country. Then came the infamous plague called the Black Death that killed millions, forcing people with different dialects and accents to migrate to the south of England. In order to standardize the language and understand each other, changes became necessary in the way words are pronounced and spelled. This change started at around the 15th century, and English continues to be an evolving language even as we speak. Did you know William Shakespeare, the famous playwright, is believed to have recorded over 2,000 words which we use today, many of which were invented by him. For example, accommodation. The first story ever written in English was a poem called Beowulf. You've probably seen the movie. The first English dictionary was Robert Cowdery's Table Alphabetica, published in 1604. It has 3,000 words, defining each with a simple and brief description. Dictionaries have come a long way. Today's Oxford Dictionary contains 240,000 words and is growing all the time. English has a fascinating story to tell. You can see it in the words that you learn. Take some time to find out where your favorite words and expressions come from. And now, I have a question for you. Do you know how old the language you speak is? Let us know by emailing to englishtrivia@columbia.com.tw or leave a comment underneath this video. Until next time, toodaloo!